it would be like singles.
It'd be like 8. So you could go, if you want to do like a cycle, you might go like 8 sets of 1 rep, resting 20 seconds, and ending like 8 weeks later with 3 singles maximum recovery. So you would what you do is you could start off like more sets, shorter rest periods, to less sets, longer rest periods, keep adding weight. Just linear, it's like a linear progression for like 6 weeks or so. And that for your people that are like more intermediate, beginner, it's gonna work good. You don't have to. I just don't recommend for advanced lifters doing it in the off season.
Would you have any advice in terms of injury management, most common injuries that you see on the bench press, how you go about addressing it?
Okay. So fortunately, we haven't had a lot of injuries compared to a lot of other people. So I think one of the biggest things I've found in preventing injuries in the bench press is a stronger back. It's not like stretching the bands or anything else. It's hitting your upper back, doing more volume with your pulling than you do with your pressing, and getting a really strong upper back has been the biggest way to. And then sticking to your plan.
Guys are still able to focus, or should we stop and then continue?
We're good, we're good.
Do about 5 more minutes?
Yeah, I can talk about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Could you just elaborate when you say back work, like what your preferred exercises are?
Yeah, so back work can be done pretty much every day, okay? So, Asmat, hold on. Asmat, do you think he made these mirrors? I feel like I'm like 10 times bigger than normal. Did you do those mirrors special? So you guys all look bigger in there?
It's tailor made.
Okay.
In some cases.
So I think your upper back recovers faster than any muscle. So even if you recover slow, it still recovers. Like people like Julius Maddox and stuff that are fast gainers and recover slow, they can still hit their back multiple times a week. The key is doing this stuff like where it doesn't expose your lower back. So your lower back's the opposite. So like bent over rows are not okay to do all the time because your lower back's not going to recover. But you can like chest supported, any kind of chest supported rowing, any pull-ups, lap pull downs, things on cables, things like that. You just want to make sure your lower back's not, because like that's another way like the textbooks disconnect. And like the NSCA book, I remember they had something about like you do like upper body, lower body day. In the upper body day, they had like bench press and bent over rows. I'm like, dude, like so you're gonna squat heavy the day after you do these, but it's because it's written by scientists that don't actually lift, you know.
So George, like you said that you don't really like the pause bench that you mentioned, in which we pause about like 2-3 inches. So would you happen to have similar rules about pause deadlift?
I don't like pause deadlift.
Why?
Right?
Sorry. Like, why don't you like them?
Because they're not as effective as using isometrics. I don't have like a personal bias against them. I just think there's better things to do. You know, so
Where you pause at the knee and
okay, so isometric would be for
No, he's not talking about that.
for instance, I'm right here, right? I got a barbell under here, so it could be like this could be a bench press or anything. It doesn't matter what I'm saying for deadlifting sake. So I say I get stuck every time I deadlift right here. Okay. So what I do is I put the bar under here and I pull as hard as I can against this for 6 seconds. So what that allows, why do I do that? Well, it allows me to produce about 15% more force than I could concentrically. I can do about 15 times longer. Okay? So, what happened? Is that your friend?
huh?
So you do the same on the bench press as well?
Same on the bench press. So having as much luck with squatting, you have the most luck on. But that's not to say it wouldn't work with squatting. It's done a little bit, it doesn't work quite as well, but don't have enough conclusive data to write it off yet. Best look we had so far: bench pressing, overhead pressing, deadlifting. And so what you do is, okay, so you put the pins where your sticking point is. You push or pull against them as hard as you can, okay? It's not like you want to do it lightly. You want to like, you have to like, your life depends on it hard. Huh?
You said 15 seconds?
6 seconds. You can't do 15. If you do 15, you're not going hard enough. What were you saying?
Oh, I'm sorry, I found this a little confusing.
The what?
Isometric.
No. Well,
okay,
email me too, and I'll send you an article on it. So,
Yes, please.
joshstrength@gmail.com.
Sure, thanks a
Okay.
lot.
But anyways, so what the problem with the pause deadlifts is, if you're pausing, okay, this is the problem with the internet, is like a lot of people do things because they see people that think are cool are doing it. But I don't powerlift anymore, so I don't do anything cool powerlifting wise. I make cool videos and they don't do it powerlifting, so I can just help people that actually works. So you think about it, okay, if I say I'm deadlifting, focus. Your friend's not gonna live down.
No, I'm not.
You want her to
looking
come in?
outside,
She
I'm
can
looking
come.
at you.
Alright.
I'm actually listening to what you're saying.
No, you're looking over there.
Sorry.
Okay, so right here, I'm gonna get right in front of you. Okay, so if I have we'll use 4. If I have 200 kgs in the bar and it gets stuck right here, okay, it's not going up, it's not going down. How much force? Assuming it's not just resting my leg, how much force do I have on it? 200 kgs, not going up, not going down. What? How much force? 200 kgs, right?
Yes, 200
Because it's
kg.
nothing's happening. Okay. So how much force do you give in a pause deadlift?
Not as much.
You have 200 kgs max if you're not resting, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How in the hell are you going to overcome your sticking point with the exact same amount of weight? But I can do 15% more force in there. Science concludes. So that's 230, right? So that's why the isometric is superior. This is not teaching. You're doing less force, and you're teaching yourself. So my problem is I stick right here. Okay. So I'm going to correct that problem by purposely sticking right there. That's dumb, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, or I can go there and try to break the pins. I'm going to go in there, and it's going to be a war. And we're going to go to war with those pins. I'm going to pull as hard as I can. That's why a lot of the best lifters I assign isometrics to, they're always like, oh, I felt like woozy for a day after. Well, no shit. You pulled as hard as you can. If you're doing those right, it's not like, people say, oh, it's RPE 7. Okay, no, it wasn't. Or either you're neurologically like fucked. Like you can't, like you probably have trouble walking in the street, let alone deadlifting. Or you're not giving your best effort, which is everybody in here to be that because all y'all can lift. So you want to pull as hard as you can. Bench press, you push as hard as you can. You try to break those, okay? For 6 seconds. After you do that, then the problem with isometrics is they can mess up the motor pattern of the full lift. So the combative strategy to that is what I developed was after you do that, you do the full range of motion lift, we'll say like 70 to 80% of your max, and you do as explosively as possible. Okay, so then what I just gained is actually being integrated in the full movement pattern. That's the advantage. Okay, and then guess what? With a lighter weight, you're gonna be more explosive because remember you and I specifically talked about the post-activation potentiation at the break.
We did.
What do you think that is?
Once you actually get that, you're gonna get. It's going to seem like a lighter weight. The weight is going to
seem lighter, yeah. It's going to go faster.
You're going to feel like again.
Because there's no way doing the pause deadlifts that's not messing up the motor pattern.
That's true.
Think about it. This isn't messing up the motor pattern as much because first off, you're doing a full range right after. So if you did do pause, say you don't like what I'm saying, I pause deadlift works for me. I'm fine with that. I don't care as long as something works for people. I'm just saying though. If something works for you and I've said otherwise, I'm the first to tell you if you said, hey, I want to train with you, and you said like this other person's like coached me, I've made like this much progress, and I'd say keep doing it until it doesn't work anymore because so if you got something that works for you better, that's fine. But I would still say this, even if you did the pause deadlifts like you're talking about, I would still recommend doing the full range of motion ones after, because you have to get the motor pattern down.
Okay, so the load during the isometric holds, loads have to be like around 60 to 70?
The loads don't matter because the resistance is right here. So
Okay.
the load, you can honestly do an empty bar. The load's right here. It's
The pins.
Is an immovable object. So, I mean, the best thing you can do in isometric, you know, here, this is the gym, but you can pull the rack out of the ground. That would be an accomplishment. Like, so, yeah.
Okay.
Could you speak to how you would program that? How would
Yeah,
that
sure.
actually look like in a
So,
bench workout?
let's say like you're doing bench press, okay? You could go something like, so let's say you're sticking at the top of the bench press, so you want to work the last. So you basically isometrics transfer like within about 20 degrees, about 15 degrees that given joint angle. So you'd have to first decipher what's causing the sticking point as best you can. So it might be like, you know, it could be not necessarily be weak triceps, it could be that you come so slow off your chest and just manifests right there, but let's just say it's a legit sticking point. So you'd want to go right in that area. You know, it's okay for an inch or so off. It's got that 20-degree threshold. You would do, I'd say like, so say you're getting ready for a meet. So say you go up to 90% of your max for 2 reps, okay? You do that. Then after you do that, here's where you do isometric. So you do like 3 to 4 sets. You do isometric, 6 seconds. Doesn't, bars, fine, doesn't matter. The distance depends. Or if you can, 6 seconds. Rest a couple minutes.
Sorry, how long would you rest between those 6
I would
seconds?
say 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay, so it's like you're resting for an effort. It's not like 1 minute and then go again.
No. It's not for endurance, okay?
Gotcha.
But it's still sub-maximal on the other weights. You don't need to like make it like 6 minutes or something.
Right.
Okay. Then you would go like say 75%, just throw your number. 3 reps. Okay. That sequence back and rest 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. Go
Okay.
back and forth 4 times in each. 3 times
Gotcha.
in each in that area. That's all you have to do. And you can do that works well for. I would not recommend do that beyond like 6 or 7 weeks. It starts to not work well at that point. Like you kind of like condition your. I don't know what happens. Your body adapts or something, but it doesn't work as well after a little while. So I think we're.
One last question.
One last question.
I can take it offline. I think it's more very specific to me.
The what now?
Okay.
Go ahead.
It's about
You
the upper
don't know.
back.
That might help other people.
It's about the upper back. Right. So I have a day job that requires me to sit in front of a computer for about 6, 7, 8 hours, and I've been doing that for like 15, 20 years now. And my upper back is naturally a little hunched and rounded. So I mean, it's not naturally hunched and rounded. That's sort of my subconscious go-to
Yeah.
position. And that is sort of manifesting itself in terms of all the sticking points I have.
Internal rotation.
Well, then you just need to do more back work.
Is it okay to do it like several times a week?
Absolutely. How many times a week do you train?
4 to 5.
Then I'd be doing upper back with 4 to 5. Because it doesn't have to be like a death drop set every time. Even if you're doing like the end of your like say squat workout, you know, if you do like 6 sets of face pulls or something, that's fine. So basically, we're gonna reach like after we pass the main lifts, we'll have some extra time too for anything you guys want to cover. So just remind me of that, and I'll show you some specific stuff that will be applicable to just your situation. It's got a lot of little things that are not very demanding on your body. They're like, like things like T3 raises and stuff, where 5 pounds is going to kick your ass. So it's not like you have to like do like some crazy like snatch grip deadlifts off a deficit. It's going to be very specific to those muscles that you're not neglecting, but that are underactive. Last one.
I kind of neglected my biceps.
Okay.
Mostly on the eccentric, but I have to like concentrate a lot on my biceps.
It does because, like that's, like so. There's one study that showed they showed a person bench pressing on a Smith machine, a barbell, and a dumbbell, and the biceps were least active in the Smith machine, second most active in the bench press, and most active in the dumbbell bench press. The reason is stability. So that's what biceps play a role, stability. So the bigger and stronger they are, the more stable they are. So it it does play a role. Like, have there been people that have bench pressed huge without training their biceps? Yes. Would they have done more? Have they trained their biceps? Yes. So, is it like a deal killer to bench press big? No, but can you get the extra 5, 10, 15, 20 kilos? Yeah. Okay? So tomorrow, 5 o'clock, we'll come for the trap.